What's going on, fellas? For this video, I want to bring you back to the 90s, where life was much more simple and the internet was just in its infancy. Now, in the first presidential election of that decade, there was a Democrat, a Republican, and an independent by the name of Ross Perot who took the headlines by storm. In fact, he was so popular at one point, he was leading the polls in the summer leading up to that election. So who was this mysterious figure who took the political world by storm and almost made third-party candidates extremely popular? Ross Perot was born on June 27, 1930 in Texarkana, Texas, and went on to become a businessman, billionaire, and philanthropist. He was the founder and chief executive officer of Electronic Data Systems and Perot Systems. Perot was a major critic of incumbent President George H.W. Bush and strongly opposed the United States' involvement in the Persian Gulf War and unsuccessfully tried to get the Senate to vote against the war resolution. This is when he began to consider a possible presidential campaign, and on February 20th, 1992, Perot appeared on Larry King Live on CNN and announced his intention to run in the 1992 presidential election as an independent if his supporters could get his name on the ballot in all 50 states. Perot's policies included balancing the federal budget, putting new gun control policy into federal law, ending the outsourcing of jobs, and acting in electronic direct democracy or electronic voting. He started to poll roughly even with the two major candidates, George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton, in the polls after he announced his intention to run. Perot's candidacy got increased media attention once his poll numbers started to rapidly increase, which helped benefit his campaign immensely. However, on July 15th of 1992, for numerous unknown reasons ranging from his daughter to his reputation, Perot decided to withdraw from the presidential race. But on October 1st, he decided to re-enter the race. It's still unknown why he dropped out of the race in the first place and why he decided to re-enter so late into the cycle, but Perot was actually invited to participate in the presidential debates, which was a first for a third-party candidate, and he did participate in all of them. Perot at the least was hoping to get some electoral votes, as every 20 years or so there's a third-party candidate who got electoral votes. For example, in 1924, Robert La Follette got electoral votes, in 1948, Strom Thurmond got electoral votes, and in 1968, George Wallace got some electoral votes. In the 1992 election, Ross Perot received 18.9% of the popular vote, which was about 20 million votes. However, he did not receive any electoral college votes. This means that Perot was the most successful third-party presidential candidate in terms of the popular vote since Teddy Roosevelt in the 1912 election. His popularity in the 1992 election kept him in the public eye throughout Clinton's first term in office. And then the question rose again when the next election cycle came around. Would Perot run again, and if he did, would he run as an independent again? That question will be answered in 1995 when Perot founded the Reform Party and won their presidential nomination for the 1996 presidential election. His running mate this time around was Pat Choate. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'll put up the spelling on the screen and you can make your own judgment. This time around, however, Perot was not invited to the presidential debates, and he would later file a lawsuit against the Federal Elections Committee for keeping him out of the debates. In the 1996 election, Perot received 8% of the popular vote, a significant drop from the 1992 race. However, for third-party standards, that's pretty successful. He also spent much less of his own money on this race than he had 4 years prior. Perot never ran for president again, as in 2000 he wasn't happy with the Reform Party and their new policies, so he declined to run. In the 2000 election, he endorsed George W. Bush. In the 2008 Republican primaries, he endorsed Mitt Romney, and in the 2012 election, he endorsed Romney again. Perot never fit in the usual political stereotypes our society has, and keep in mind, these were positions he had in the 1990s. Perot supported gay rights, stricter gun control laws such as an assault rifle ban, increased research in AIDS, and was a pro-choice activist who was a strong supporter of Planned Parenthood. He also supported raising taxes for the wealthy while spending to help cut the national debt. He believed the capital gains tax should have been increased while giving tax breaks to those starting new businesses. After that endorsement for Romney, Perot lived the rest of his life away from the political spotlight. He died on July 9, 2019 from leukemia in Dallas, Texas, less than 2 weeks after his 89th birthday. He was a political outsider who didn't believe in just settling for the establishment, and he believed that he had what was necessary to get the job done, and a lot of people agreed with him. Although Perot didn't have a lot of success in the presidential election process, he did pave the way for more third-party candidates who decided to run because of his success. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this. I'll have links to my Twitter and my Discord server in the description below, and as always, I'll see you on the flip side.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Motherfucking boss.